Hello! It's time for another film review, and I have just watched the film Before I Fall, and I quite enjoyed it. At first I was a little bit worried because I didn't really think I was the target audience, because obviously I'm not really a teen. I think the best audience really for this would be like a teenager in school, basically. Maybe a female, since they are pretty much 99% of the cast in it. There's a couple of guys in it, but they have minor roles. But I actually found myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. At first, for the first few minutes, well, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, I was thinking, oh, actually, do you know what? I'm really not going to enjoy this. I'm really not the target audience. But then things developed, yeah, I actually ended up enjoying it more than I thought I would. So yeah, it's quite a good film in the end. And although I would still say I'm definitely not the target audience, I just watched it because I just found it and I thought looks interesting. I didn't really know anything about it before I watched it, although I do actually now recall seeing the trailers for it on TV a little while back. So I was thinking, oh, what's this film? I remember the adverts of this. It's a little bit like Groundhog Day. Apparently it is based on a book, also called Before I Fall. I don't know anything about the book, but I was basically thinking Groundhog Day because it's this girl and she's living the same day over and over and over and over, and she basically has to become a good person and do good things in order for the cycle to end. So that is still very much like Groundhog Day, whereas Groundhog Day was more of like an adult film. It had some adult themes in it. This one was very much aimed at teenagers and teenage issues and teenage life in American high schools. I think there's nowhere really on earth really quite like an American high school. I know British high schools are definitely different, but yeah. So I had a quick look at some ratings before I made this review. I haven't really read any other people's reviews. I just looked at like star ratings, but star ratings really don't mean anything. Some people have given it like 4 out of 5, some like 3 or whatever. IMDb is 6.4. The reason I keep looking up is because it's on my TV. I've got my laptop plugged into my TV, which is directly behind the camera above me, which is why my eyes keep going up. The main star is someone called Zoe Deutch, however that's pronounced. Yeah, I think it's she does a really good job. I'd say at first I was a bit worried, thinking, oh, is this just going to be a silly teen flick? And I didn't like her character 100% to begin with. Over the course of the film, as she keeps reliving the same day over and over and over again, her character does change and she does become a lot more likeable in the end, and in the end she is actually quite a nice person. So I think in the beginning maybe you're not necessarily supposed to like her all that much. I don't know if that's what they're aiming for, but that's definitely the impression I got, and I was a little bit worried at first, thinking, oh god, I'm really not entirely sure about this character, but she does become a nicer person, and so maybe that was a deliberate thing, I don't know. So I've done almost no research on this film. I wasn't even sure what film this was before I started even watching it. I literally just found it. I was looking for independent films, although I'm not entirely sure this is an independent film, to be honest, because it seemed like a high budget, though it had 50 million to make it, so I don't know. It had quite a decent soundtrack, I suppose, and it did get a little bit emotional at the end, touched you in the feels a little bit. So yeah, I think overall it is quite a good film. It does develop. It is a little bit predictable, as I said. If you've seen like something like Groundhog Day, I say this isn't like a remake or a copy of that. Apparently it is based off the book, but I think it's pretty damn obvious whoever wrote the book has seen the Groundhog Day film. So it's kind of like, okay, so she's reliving the same day over and over again. She realises she can do anything without consequences, and so she goes a bit crazy. Not that crazy, though. I would have gone far more insane in an extreme. And then she turns into this nice person and everything's wonderful. And then the day stopped repeating itself, quite literally forever stops repeating itself. So yeah, I think it's quite a good film. Yeah, definitely one to watch. If you find it, rent it, download it. I would recommend this one. It's not the greatest film in the world, but it's definitely worth watching, I think. So that is my thoughts on it. I say it's not really original, but it's, you know, there's loads and loads of films out there about girls that's in high school. There's, as I say, Groundhog Day has been done. I think there might be some other films that people relive the same day over and over. I'm trying to think what they're called. I'm sure there is something else out there. It's nagging away at the back of my mind, thinking there's definitely something else. I'm going to have to look this up. I've just gone onto Wikipedia, list of films featuring time loops. Let's see if any of these I actually recognise. 12 Dates of Christmas, 12:01, 12:01 PM, I've not heard of any of them. About Time, APQR, I've not heard of that. Before I Fall, that shows what I'm talking about now. Camp Slaughter, don't know that one. Every Christmas Eve, seems like Christmas seems to be a thing. Dead End, Groundhog Day, obviously, that's the one I kept referencing. Happy Death Day, Hunter, The Last Day of Summer, Looper, I wouldn't have said Looper's necessarily like that. Mickey's, Once Upon a Christmas, Mind Games, Naked, blah, blah, blah. None of these are what I'm thinking of. If you go into Wikipedia and look up films that have featuring time loops, but none of these are what I'm thinking of. I can't think. There's definitely something in the back of my mind I'm thinking of. Anyway, so as I was saying, it's not an entirely original concept to have a day looping over and over and over again. And obviously, there's like a gazillion films with teenage girls in high school. But other than that, taking the two concepts, putting them together, I think it worked quite well. I think the acting was quite good, and the story development was all right. I said it was a little predictable because obviously it's been done before. And the character development was quite good because, as I said at the beginning, I wasn't entirely sure about her character. What's her name? Let me just scroll through. Samantha Kingston, that's her name. So, she definitely developed into a much nicer person. And then it ends, quite literally. So, yeah, go check it out. It's definitely worth it. It's not the best film in the world, by far. There are a lot of better films out there, but it's definitely worth watching. It's definitely worth checking out. So go check it out. I've got some more independent films coming along, so check them out when I film them. Possibly going to be doing another cinema film soon, because a friend of mine wants to go to cinema. I know I said I'd have a break from cinema films, because obviously I can't really afford them right now, and I said I was going to stop doing them after, what was that silly space film, I can't even, Valerian or something. I said that put me off going to cinema for a while, but a friend wants to go to cinema, so I'll probably review the film. I've also got Firewalk at the end of the month. Actually, it's in a week. I'm doing Firewalk in a week, and more karate stuff. So check them all out. Like, subscribe to see them. Press the bell icon, and I will catch you later. Bye.